Hey, this is Sam with the Nashville Home Guys, and wanted to just tell the quick story from a realtor's perspective of this transaction that I'm involved in right now regarding probably one of the most, if not the most viral listing that I've ever seen that has swept the nation and most of the world. So let's hop right into it and let's do a little story time. So I have some amazing clients that are relocating here to Middle Tennessee, and right off the bat, they said, hey, we might be a little bit of a hard client to search for. We've always felt like, God has orchestrated our steps, and we've walked into some incredible opportunities. And, me always willing to work with people in their own particular circumstance. I was like, hey, great, let's get to work. So we've had some instant rapport. They came and visited Middle Tennessee. We saw quite a few homes that first weekend, just really trying to get a feel of the differences between, Williamson County, Franklin and Brentwood and Nolensville, and then also some areas of Davidson County as well. I think when you're relocating, that's one of the hardest things is like, where am I gonna live and what area would make the most sense for us? And so seeing homes and doing area tours definitely helps. And so I knew pretty quickly that these clients would probably try to find something that they can make their own. And that's what they expressed on the front end as well. The third visit that they were here, we had all these houses lined up. This one listing, and the listing photo was the one that you've all seen of the house being on fire. And if you missed this, there was a Franklin home that unfortunately caught on fire, and it literally broke the internet, and it was picked up by everybody. So, but before when we saw it, it wasn't really out there yet, or at least the night before it wasn't, and then the morning of, it was. It was kind of everywhere. And so I knew it was probably, on the verge of making a lot more outlets. But, driving up to this thing is a spectacle for sure. The house, the way it's situated, it's very prominent. And, the first thing I saw was, wow, I just can't believe the amount of loss. And, when they first sent me the listing, of course, seeing that first photo is shocking. I knew these clients liked projects, but I didn't think that was something that was going to be up their alley. But when you start to dive deeper into the listing, you start to realize that there actually could be some really incredible value here. And, that's when I was like, okay, you know what? I totally see it. And, some of that value is having the land in Williamson County, which if you're from the area, you know how rare it is to be able to find, like a 5-acre lot, let alone a 5-acre lot that has a build site, a new septic tank, has a guest house that's perfectly fine and beautiful. It's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It has about 1,500 square feet of garage space with 12-foot doors. Absolutely stunning. And that has a new septic system. It's got new underground utilities. So that alone for me, I was like, all right, this is something that, totally would make sense. And so again, pulling up to the house, it's a crazy sight to see. It's really hard to explain loss like that unless you've seen it. And to be honest with you, that was the first house that I've seen in that condition before that had suffered something like that. And it was really sad. We met there with the owner who was also selling it, him and his wife. And, it was definitely, as he was going through the story and we were hearing his emotion, and you could tell that it was traumatic, as it should be. And so when we look at stuff on the internet, we see this shock and awe photo or whatever, but when you're there, you start to realize the loss and the impact and the emotional damage, all that stuff. So, walking around, it was great having him there to walk us through the property, point out everything. And it became very evident that they really liked the house. Started asking questions about, I wonder what offer statuses are like. I wonder what they have going, who's coming in and seeing it. And we knew that people were chomping at the bit. They already had an offer or two. There are some people flying in from out of state to seeing it. And so, what really made the difference is spending that time with, my clients, the whole family, and then also them spending time with the sellers as well. And we really handshook on a deal at the property. So, we spent about 2 hours out there and walked through everything. And we cried a little bit. We shared a lot of laughter. You could tell there's just a great synergy there. The whole situation was just, you know, kind of ordained, honestly, the way that everybody's mindsets were and just how fluid it was. And so I had some people ask me, like, as a realtor, wouldn't you tell your clients not to take on something like that or to show them different property? And you know, that's something I want to address. You know, first and foremost, it is my job to, you know, obviously bring up the best case scenarios for, you know, whatever client I'm working with and what they're looking for in their house journey. And also to point out red flags and to try to give people a scope of what they're looking at, whether that be a remodel or new construction or all that good stuff. And if I'm looking at it from land value and, you know, as a space where somebody could live in the guest house while they redo the main house, it makes absolute sense if somebody has the palate for that project, and they totally did. And at the end of the day, it's a decision of the client, and I think they made a fantastic decision. The second thing is, you know, when I'm helping advise somebody on the decision they make, you know, it's not like one of those things where we close on the house and then I'm gone. I've been fortunate enough with my dad, you know, my relationships, my teammates' relationships, where we have really good relationships with a lot of different resources in the community when it comes to housing. And so, you know, I knew that if they chose to, you know, purchase this property, that there'd be some additional work on my side of linking them with resources. And that's exactly what we've done. And I love doing that. You know, it's not like a in and out type of transaction for me. None of them are. It's something where I really want to help facilitate and provide resources. And it's really unique to have a family that wants to actually restore a building that's been on the property. As most of you guys know that have been here, you know, the kind of the MO and the easiest thing to do is just scratch the building and build completely new. And that is exactly what would have happened to this house if this family would have not found it. And so I'm really excited that my clients are going to restore it, and that they're not even going to flip it, that they're restoring it for them to have a place to call home and, you know, what they think could be their forever home. You know, another great question I got is, why would anybody choose an initial listing photo like that of the house actually being on fire? And sure, there's some shock value to it, but you know, the owners aren't social media people. They aren't like marketing geniuses. They really did show that picture in just full disclosure of what happened to the house, to tell the story of, you know, what the buyer was getting into. And so, you know, I think the byproduct was going viral of that, but I've got to commend them on their choice of photo. And obviously it worked as far as a marketing perspective and getting the house sold. I will have a link in the description to their channel because they're going to answer some questions after their initial video about when they're going to be filming more and why they chose the house, and just some other backing questions about YouTube and all that good stuff. So I'll have a link in the description. And if it's on the other platform, we'll have it in like a caption or something. And if you have any questions about this transaction or about just the real estate market in general in Middle Tennessee, holler at the Nashville Home Guys and we will get you moving. Thanks.